I'm sure most of you guys have heard the news by now, but Niantic is preparing to sell Pokemon Go. According to this Bloomberg article here that was just published, Pokemon Go maker nears $3.5 billion deal to sell games unit. Today we dive into this article and discuss the legitimacy of it and what this means for the future of Pokemon Go, because this is definitely something worth talking about. Niantic Incorporated, the company behind the 2016 hit Pokemon Go, is in talks to sell its video game business to Saudi Arabia-owned company Scopely Incorporated, according to several people familiar with the discussions, whatever that means. A deal could be announced in the coming weeks. The price being discussed is about $3.5 billion. Oh my gosh, Niantic, nice job. According to one of the people that they're getting the information from. It's important to note that any agreement would involve the Pokemon title as well as their other mobile games. So potentially Ingress, potentially Pikmin. They're known for a lot of other games as well. Again, according to the people who asked to not be identified because the discussions are private, okay? It's important to note that there's no assurance an agreement will be reached, but if it gets leaked like this, and if there was even a discussion in the first place, then there's definitely some interest. I want to talk about this section in particular here. So representatives of Niantic and Scopely declined to comment. Scopely is owned by Savvy Games Group, a subsidiary of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. So more importantly, this first part here, because as always, this is the internet and you cannot take everything at face value. So it's noted here that representatives of Niantic and Scopely declined to comment. We also saw earlier that the people who are telling us all this information will not be identified. The discussions are private. So the question is this article legitimate? And does this story have any truth to it? And to be honest with you guys, my answer is yes and no. I'll say this. First of all, I'm uneducated on the legality of the situation. Are these people allowed to be talking about these billion-dollar deals and letting there be articles published about them? Like, this seems a little wrong. This seems a little invasive, and I don't know if this was meant to go out. Sometimes things are leaked on purpose to spread information or to spread the possibility of things happening. This could be one of them, although I don't know who's going to outbid $3.5 billion. Another thing, too, I feel like this is not just like information that you hear in passing or whatever. Like, how did this person get this information about this $3.5 billion deal? That sounds like something that would happen behind some extremely tight closed doors. And this is a big article and a big news piece that really shakes up the whole Niantic world, especially for us here at Pokemon Go. So I don't know if this is factual or not, but is it possible and does this make sense? Absolutely. Niantic has done an amazing job with Pokemon Go. Whether you guys agree with that or not, this game is still going and thriving in the year 2025. 9 years later, they're still making lots of money. They've gathered so much information in terms of augmented reality. And let's be honest, Pokemon is not going anywhere. So this game can definitely last for years and years and years, which is a huge thing. You guys got to realize making a video game last and stand the test of time is very, very difficult to do. Think about all of your favorite video games. They're more than likely outdated and unplayable by now. While you have Pokemon Go almost a decade later, still playable, still fun, still having new things every single week, guys. I mean, it's not like we're getting monthly updates or weekly updates. Well, I guess we are getting weekly updates, but there's something happening every day of this game. They're constantly on it. Gotta give it kudos there, objectively. So whether or not you agree with their decisions and the way they go about things, Pokemon Go is still banging and it's still playable and it's still here. And this Saudi Arabia-owned company, Scopely, sees the potential in that. And I want to talk about this Saudi Arabia-owned company, Scopely, because I've been looking into them and a lot of people are worried that this is a really bad thing that's going to happen. Scopely has a lot of history and large ties with other mobile games, including Monopoly Go, including Stumble Guys, including Yahtzee, Star Trek Fleet Command, WWE Champions, Scrabble Go, and it's definitely trying to add to that by adding Pokemon Go, by adding Ingress, Pikmin, etc. I haven't played any of these games, to be honest, but I've heard of WWE Champions, I've heard of Scrabble Go, I've heard of Strike Force, I've heard of Stumble Guys, so I've heard of all these games. Personally, I've never played any of them except actually Stumble Guys, funny enough. But the big problem with Scopely that people are worried about is that their video games are heavily, and I mean heavily, incentivized by microtransactions, aka pay to play features, aka you can have a Pokemon egg incubator and pay to have it incubated that second, or maybe you can get a reroll at a raid and pay $1 to get another chance at a legendary, or maybe it's like a boosted incense where you can get a boosted shiny chance for 30 coins or whatever. There are a lot of possibilities. Pokemon Go has a lot of microtransactions attached to it, and I wouldn't call Pokemon Go pay to play, but if you're not paying, there's a good chance this game is very difficult for you, especially if you're a PvPer, especially if you are a huge collector. You kind of have to pay, or you really have to grind, and that's where a company like Scopely would thrive, because they can come in, add some price tags on a bunch of our daily mundane tasks that we have in Pokemon Go, make them quicker, make them easier, make them better, and make them more incentivizing, which I know a lot of people are turned off to the idea too. So Scopely, as they have a pretty good catalog here, and that's cool, but I think the thought of this is scaring a lot of people. Now, of course, we're used to microtransactions. We do remote raids, we do other stuff, and there's free ways to get them, yes, and they are kind of like pushed towards us, but you can play Pokemon Go without spending money. It's possible. I know people that have got to 50 without spending money, that have just enjoyed the game for its vanilla version and grinded for coins in the game, or just played the game without spending a dime, and they're having a great time. The thing is, it just takes longer, and in this day and age, we don't need things to take longer. We pay for efficiency, we pay for speed, and that is what a company like Scopely is going to take advantage of. So if they do acquire Pokemon Go, it's going to be a very interesting turn. I don't expect this to happen anytime soon. I know they mentioned that the deal could come in coming weeks, but it's not like okay, here's the password, take it a go. This is going to be a deal that would be discussed, and it would happen months down the road, potentially years down the road. It's not something you could just hand over, I don't believe. So I'm really just curious if this is real or not, because I feel like it is and I feel like it isn't. It is because it's possible. Pokemon Go has succeeded so long. They've been doing this for 9 years. I'm sure they have all the AR information out there, and their mission is successful. They can move on to whatever the heck they want to move on to next, and maybe they can hand Pokemon Go off to a company that's excited and refreshed and wants to do more with the game and try to revolutionize it. Or Niantic is doing a great job, and they have so many things lined up for the rest of the year and for the future. As you guys know, we have the Unova Tour, we have City Safaris, we have Pokemon Go Fest. There's so much. We have the Wild Area at the end of the year, potentially. We have so much going on just this year alone. It doesn't feel like Niantic is giving up on Pokemon Go anytime soon. So for them to sell it would be interesting for me, because I feel like they're doing such a great job, and to hold a game down for 9 years is no easy task. Again, I know a lot of people don't like that, you know, they're the people that run the thing, but they've kept it alive for 9 years, and I've been playing it every single day for 9 years. Whether or not I did this for a hobby or as a career or whatever, this is so much fun. I would do this no matter what. I would play this game no matter what. I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm a gaming fan. This is everything I've ever wanted ever since I was a kid. Pokemon Go in real life. And they've made it happen, and they've made it last. Really impressive stuff, seriously. But this article goes into more information about who Niantic is, what Pokemon Go is, and whatnot, and we kind of know about that already, but it's important to note, this game is the most downloaded and profitable augmented reality app of all time. And that's not according to the company. That's got to be true. Also important to note that Niantic does not just make mobile games. They're a company that makes other products, including tools to help capture and share 3D scans of real-world locations, aka augmented reality. The end of this article is actually important as well. So they talk about Scopely being acquired for $4.9 billion 2 years ago by Savvy Games, and in 2024, their CEO said that the company planned to add a genre-leading mobile title to its roster through Scopely. So hey, what other genre-leading mobile game is there? Because they're not buying Supercell out. Supercell has been established for years and years and years. I guess they could. I don't know how that works. But it sounds like Niantic makes a lot of sense for them, the tip of the spear for its mobile investment strategy. So acquiring Pokemon Go sounds like the tip of the spear in the genre-leading mobile title categories. Also, very important stuff here. In August, Niantic signed a deal with Savvy to help it expand in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Egypt. So if you guys didn't know this, Pokemon Go is not playable in every country around the world. There are countries that you cannot open and play Pokemon Go in. Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates, and Egypt were one of them. Saudi Arabia and the others here listed were some of them. You could not play Pokemon Go in Saudi Arabia until very, very recently, where Pokemon Go opened up their servers and expanded into those countries. So because they did that, that was a huge bridge in their relationship and kind of opened this conversation. And I'm sure that's a massive help, because they're gauging right now as we speak the interest levels of Pokemon Go in Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia has a lot of money and this is a massive market. And if they can get this relationship going, build this bridge, and acquire Pokemon Go, that would be massive news. But I know a lot of people are turned off about this, and truly, I don't know what to feel. I guess we'll wait and see. Again, I don't believe we're going to see anything immediate at any point soon here, so I wouldn't worry about it. Go ahead and play the game and move on about your day. But if this does happen, what does that mean? Pokemon Go might get a complete do-over. It might look different, it might feel different, and there definitely might be a lot more microtransactions. But again, I feel like there already is, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this. This is what everyone's talking about right now. I'm very curious to see if anyone from Niantic or Scopely is going to actually make a comment on this to see if this is legitimate or not. Again, this line right here is very interesting to me because I want to know, is this actually real? Was this even a conversation, or is this a bunch of hoopla spread by some randoms? I don't know. Again, it's important to do your research and to look into things and not to take everything at face value, because this could be a joke, this could be a lie, this could be a concept, or this could be real. I guess we'll have to find out sooner or later. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. How do you feel about Pokemon Go becoming more of a microtransaction based game? How do you feel about Pokemon Go being sold? What does this mean for the future of Niantic? I have no idea, but I'm kind of excited to see if this is real or not, because it just opens up a lot of conversations that need to be had. And I don't know, what if Pokemon Go gets better? It's possible, man. Not everything is the best it could be. You know, maybe Pokemon Go could get better. Maybe it can get worse. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Very interesting stuff here. Really random out of nowhere. Just days before the biggest event of 2025 so far for Pokemon Go. So interesting timing there. Hopefully we get a massive, awesome weekend. I'm going to be at the Unova Tour, of course. Those videos are coming very, very soon here. Make sure you guys subscribe for that. But yeah, Pokemon Go apparently, allegedly in talks to being sold. We'll see how true this really is in due time.